Have you ever had a cup of coffee so good you wonder how it's even possible it could be so different than your normal cup? According to the National Coffee Association, pour-over brewing highlights a coffee's unique flavors better than almost every other method. It's because you get the most control over the brew strength, time, and temperature. So today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect cup of coffee using a pour-over. So to start, I'm going to come over here. There's a couple things you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need your pour-over and your filter. I think the best way to do it is with whole beans. So you're going to need some whole beans. You're going to need some grinder for your whole beans. You're going to want a measuring cup. A little cup to put your beans in when you measure them. And a gram scale. So we're going to start by taking your cup, your measuring cup, and you say, oh, how much coffee do I want to make? So we're going to make 16 ounces of coffee today. So I'm going to come over here. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to take my scale, turn my scale on. Once my scale is on, I'm going to put my measuring cup on there. I'm going to zero it. And then I'm going to fill it up to 16 ounces. And then I'm going to take the weight of that, and I'm going to divide that by 17. That way I get a 17-to-1 ratio between my how much water I have and how much coffee I use. So almost at 16 ounces. Oh, I forgot, you also need a kettle or just some other way to heat up your coffee. I think it's also really good to use a thermometer, so that way you know exactly the temperature of your coffee. So I'm going to take my electric kettle over here. I'm going to fill up my kettle. It's 16 ounces. We're going to start that. So while that's heating up, now we got to measure and grind our beans. So you take a cup, and you take your beans, and you're going to add in your beans until you have whatever that number was, or for that 17-to-1 ratio. Then take your beans, your whole beans, put in your grinder. Do your best not to drop them all over. Alright. So you gotta grind up your beans. I did not plug my kettle in. You have to plug your electric kettles in. Don't forget that. All right, grind this up. The bigger your grinder is, typically the better that's gonna be. So then you can make as much coffee as you want at one time and not have to worry about, doing like grinding it multiple times because you can't fit all your beans in. Electric grinders are nice, but hand grinders are a good, inexpensive option. So I still gotta grind some more beans, but I always like to just take my grounds and just put them directly into my pour over. But what you want to do before that is once you put your filter in here, you want to take a little bit of water and then just put it through your filter. That way your filter is nice and wet, so that way it's ready to make your coffee and it's not absorbing all the coffee. So unscrew this, tap a little bit. All right. Gonna grind some more beans. Alright, I will see you when I'm ready to pour the water over my grounds. Okay, now I have my water all heated up. I stopped it at 204 degrees because I think that is generally the best temperature. So what you want to do before you pour it in is you want to take your finger. Oh, you can't really see that, but you take your finger, make a little well in there to pour your grounds in, to pour your water in. So you're gonna do that, fill that up, and then you're gonna get this. This is called the bloom. So you pour your coffee, you pour your water in there, and then it's the initial beginnings of your brewing. So you want to let that sit for about 30 seconds ish. I'm not going to do it as long today, just for matters of the speech. But you're gonna let it sit for a minute. That way, all your grounds absorb all the water, and then from there, you're gonna just take your kettle and you're gonna just pour in a circular motion, just nice and slow, making sure you get every bit of those grounds. So you can just keep on doing it. I like to do it until I've got until there's water in about half of the filter. And then you just let it sit and you let it just kind of like drain down a little bit. And then you just kind of repeat that process until you're out of water in your kettle. All right, now I'm ready for another pour. We're just gonna empty out all of our water in there. Then, time to wait. All right, now that my coffee has just about stopped dripping, I'm ready to pour it in my cup here. And there you go, you just pour a nice little cup of coffee. Awesome. So there you go. Now you got a nice fresh cup of pour over coffee. So today you learned how to make, I would say, the best cup of coffee you can using a pour over. And so next time when you need a little boost in the morning, give yourself a couple minutes. Wake up, 10, 15 minutes early, and you can go to work, make a barista level cup of coffee. As the writer, Annie Moreau Lindbergh once said, good communication is just as stimulating as a nice cup of black coffee, and it's just as hard to go to sleep afterwards. So enjoy.